This is VOA News via remote. I'm Diane Roberts. The Pentagon says about 100 Ukrainians will head to Oklahoma's Fort Sill as soon as next week to begin training on the Patriot missile defense system. Ukraine has long sought the Patriot surface-to-air guided missile defense system because it can target aircraft, cruise missiles, and shorter-range ballistic missiles. During his nightly video address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said,
Вільний світ має все необхідне, щоб зупинити
"The free
російську
world has
агресію і
everything
привести
necessary to stop
державу-терориста
Russian aggression and
до
to bring about
історичної
a
поразки.
historic defeat
Це
for the
важливо
terrorist
не
state."
тільки
He
для нас,
added, "It's
це
important for
важливо
global
для
democracy and
глобальної
for all
демократії,
those who
для
value
усіх
freedom."
тих.
A Pentagon spokesperson said Patriot training normally can take several months, but it will be shortened to get the Ukrainian troops back into combat sooner. U.S. President Joe Biden says he was surprised when he was informed that government records were found by his attorneys at a former office space in Washington. The top Republican on the House Intelligence Committee has requested that the U.S. intelligence community conduct a damage assessment of potentially classified documents found among the papers. Speaking to reporters in Mexico City, Mr. Biden says his attorneys did what they should have done when they immediately called the National Archives about the discovery. Speaking at a news conference, President Biden says he doesn't treat classifications lightly.
People know I take classified documents, classified information seriously.
The Department of Justice is reviewing the matter. The United States is accusing Russian military contractors backed by the Kremlin of interfering in the internal affairs of African countries and, quote, increasing the likelihood that violent extremism will grow, end quote, in the Sahel region, which is facing increasing attacks and deteriorating security. Russia has denied the accusation. This is VOA News. The Biden administration is under growing pressure from leftists in Latin America as well as U.S. lawmakers to expel Jair Bolsonaro from a post-presidential retreat in the U.S. state of Florida following an attack by his supporters on Brazil's capital. But the far-right ex-president may preempt any plans for such a rebuke. On Tuesday, he told a Brazilian media outlet he would push up his return home after being hospitalized with abdominal pains. Tokyo and Seoul are protesting China's visa stoppage amid an international COVID spat. AP correspondent Charles de Ledesma reports.
Japan and South Korea have defended public health restrictions on travellers from China a day after Beijing stopped issuing new visas in apparent retaliation. Chinese embassies stopped issuing the new visas for the two countries on Tuesday. It wasn't clear whether Beijing would expand the suspensions to other countries that have imposed stricter virus testing on national passengers following its COVID-19 surge. According to South Korean officials, about 17% of the 2,550 short-term travellers from China from January to Tuesday have tested positive. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Arrangements are being put in place to get the body of one-time financial advisor to Pope Francis, Cardinal George Pell, back to his native Australia. He died Tuesday in Rome. Pell was the most senior Catholic cleric to be convicted of child sex abuse and spent 404 days in solitary confinement in his native Australia before his convictions were overturned. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Wednesday addressed Sydney's Catholic Archbishop and those mourning the death of Cardinal Pell.
I expressed my condolences to Archbishop Fisher on behalf of the government. Archbishop Fisher informed me that there will be a service held in the Vatican in coming days, but then there will be a service at St Mary's Cathedral at some time in the future.
The Prime Minister said Pell suffered fatal heart complications following hip surgery. NATO and the EU are launching a task force to boost protection of critical infrastructure in response to last year's attack on the Nord Stream gas pipelines and Russia's weaponizing of energy, the organization's leaders said on Wednesday. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said the sabotage of the Russia to Germany pipelines in the Baltic Sea last September showed the need to confront this new type of threat. Via remote, I'm Diane Roberts, VOA News.